Welcome to Minecart Town, where you win through amassing the most victory points. Aww. And if you build this building, you get victory points. This reminds me how I like my steak. Salt, pepper, seared on both sides, and basted in victory points. Ooh, yes, baby, give me more victory points. Welcome to another video from Cardboard East. My name's Jay. I play board games from Asia and share what I find with all of you. Today, we're gonna talk about Minecart Town, a cool little Japanese game on Kickstarter. But before we get to the preview, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, please consider subscribing and liking this video. It definitely helps the channel grow. If you want to help the channel grow even more, then I strongly suggest you consider joining our Patreon. I've re-tiered it for 4 tiers. 1 for a thank you, 2 to become a producer on all the Cardboard East videos, 3 gives you access to our weekly vlog videos, and 4 lets you gain access to the free game giveaway that happens every month. All the top tier Patreon supporters, names will go into a bucket. I'll randomly choose one, and that person will win a free game. And this month, I'm giving away Raw, the retail edition, the brand new re-release from 21st Century Games. So if you're excited about the new Raw expansion coming out from 21st Century Games, well then definitely think about supporting my Patreon and win the game for free. On to the review! Now, Minecart Town did come out last year as My Trolley Town in 2023 at the Tokyo Game Market by Studio GG, which is really weird because there's a Japanese publisher, Studio GG, but there's also a Taiwanese publisher, GG Studio. Completely not related. My Trolley Town got a nice facelift, a few twists in the mechanics, and now you have Minecart Town. Now, I liked My Trolley Town, but will I like Minecraft Town? Let's open up the box and find out. Now here is the box of Minecart Town. It is a little small. Here is a ticket size ride box, and you can see that it is, well, it's just significantly smaller. Flipping the game over, you can see here is the back with a nice view of the board itself to give you an idea of play, and you have a Japanese and English back. And now let's take a look inside. Here you can see the rule book. This is what was delivered to me. The rule book will be, I guess, 12 pages, double-sided, and it will fit nice and snug in here. The nice thing is, and these are the cubes, but the nice thing that I do want to point out right away are these bags. This is the bag for A, B, and C. Now, why they didn't do this white print on top of the green bag as well, I'm not sure why, because this can be a little bit hard to see under certain lights, but the quality of these bags are really, really nice. And the fact that you get 3 of them is just fantastic. Now, inside these, you'll see the actual tiles themselves. Each tile is quite individually thick, and they do fit nicely inside this bag. Why they didn't have these colors match, I think is a missed opportunity. I definitely think that this back probably should have matched the color of the bag, and definitely would make a teardown a little bit easier. 3 different tiles of the game that you have, A, B, and C. Here are all the resource cubes in the game. And here under this light, you can see that it can be a little bit difficult to distinguish black from gray depending on the light that you have in the room, as well as the quality of your own eyes. But the black and gray are a little bit similar, and I kind of wish this were a little lighter in color. Now, I do want to mention that this is a prototype, so nothing here is finalized. So when you look at these components here, notice that this is these colors here for the scoring do not necessarily match the colors of these wooden tokens. So that's something that I think is going to be addressed later on, but right now for this prototype, it is not. This is the round marker here. This was punched out. I just kept it because I guess I have difficulty throwing things away. And this is the first player marker here. But these tokens are not finalized at all. Next up are the starting tiles here. And the original My Trolley Train, these were 2 different tiles. And here they just squish them together because it doesn't make a difference really. What's interesting though is that again, these player colors here don't necessarily match the color of these tokens or the backs here. So that's a little frustrating. I do hope they fix that in the non-prototype version or the finalized version of the game. Now this tray does come out. This holds all the track tiles. This ones are the straight and three-way, and these are all the curves and three-way. So they both have this upgraded curve here. Why did they decide to make these 2 separate compartments? I'm not entirely sure. They could have easily just made this one. These are a little bit tight, whereas this is loose. I kind of wish that this was a little looser. Now, this bin here is, I believe, designed to hold all your resources. But because it's rectangular, it can make pulling resources out of here a little hard. So we usually just leave it on the table or do it in a tray that doesn't have such a high wall, because it can make looking over a little bit difficult. But that's very picky. Otherwise, this works extremely well. Now, what is a nice touch is that this tray is that right length to give just the board just enough space to fit in there comfortably. And here is the board. It does unfold quite nicely, and you get to see Minecart Town, and you get to see all of Saibapu's artwork here. Quite a nice touch. And now, let's see what the game looks like set up. And here we go. Everything is set up. You see the bags here for A, B, and C. Here is the main board with the score track going around. Here are the A, B tile spots. So you have 6 A tiles set up for a 2-player game. And you have the 4 C tiles here. Here is the round marker that'll keep track of round 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then over here is the resource tray and then the track tray here. Let's zoom into this part of the board here. Again, Minecart Town is broken into 4 rounds, and each round is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 phases of the game. You're going to play through all 4 rounds, and by the end of here, whoever has the most victory points wins Minecart Town. Phase 1, production. Phase 2, construction. Phase 3, transportation. Phase 4, processing. Now, once round 2 is finished, you're going to move to round 3, but right here you'll see that all the A tiles that are left on the market are removed and are replaced with B tiles. So any tiles here that are remaining will get removed and put into the bag, and then you'll take out your B bag and then fill that up with 6 tiles. Your C tiles, however, will remain the same. But that was the main board. Minecart Town is all about your personal tableau, your own Minecart Town. Phase 1, production. Now in production, you're gonna notice this little symbol here, and every tile, and this is 2 tiles here, every tile and location that has this is gonna generate that resource. And you can see here in the forest, will also generate 5 of these resources here. Those resources are quite simple. You'll just take those cubes and place them there. There are 5 spaces for cubes, so I place 5 cubes here, and it says it also generates 5. Phase 2, construction. Now comes the part we'll actually build our town. During this phase, you have 4 choices. You can build, upgrade, or pass. And we'll go ahead and go through that all together. So one of the first things you could do is you could build a tile. You would just open draft from something that's on the main board. And you can see here, this is 3 wood cost. This is the agricultural farm. Here are the spaces to put cubes. And then down here, you can see on phase 1, it'll generate 1 hay and 1 sheep or cloud. And I'm gonna go ahead and build that here. I'll spend 3 wood. And then that will be my turn. I'll go ahead and let the other player know that I'm done, and then I'll wait patiently for my next turn. And then at the start of my next turn, I'm gonna go ahead and build track. Now there are 2 kinds of track. There are the straight and the curve. If you notice here, they both cost the same. They both cost 1 wood or 1 stone. And I'm going to go ahead and place this one here, and I'm going to take a stone for that. The next thing I'm going to do is build. I'm going to build again. I'm going to build this grocer. If you notice here, this grocer activates on phase 4, and it convert 1 hay and 1 sheep into victory points. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here. That's going to cost 1 and 1, so I'll remove 1 and 1 from there. Now I'm going to wait for my next turn. It's going to go around the table, and if it comes back to me, then I'm going to take this 1 resource and I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to upgrade this track. Now the cost to upgrade is the exact same here. It's 1 or 1, and we're going to flip this over. Now all the curves will upgrade to this 3-way junction, as well as the straights are all going to upgrade to a 3-way junction. Now when you upgrade, the most important thing is that you cannot remove an existing connection. So when I upgrade, I'm going to upgrade it like so. I cannot upgrade it like this, because initially it was connecting this side and this side. So if I upgraded it, I would only have 2 choices, A or B. I couldn't upgrade it like this because I'm removing the existing connection. I want to upgrade it like this, and that will be my turn. And it'll go on around the table. When it comes back to me, I'll just pass, and then I'll just wait patiently until the end of the phase. Phase 3, transportation. Here you can see my town on a later turn. Now I've already constructed this turn, and I've added it here. And now we're going to do transportation, and that's where you're going to move things around. So you can see this has 1 hay bale. I'm going to move this along a track to here. I'm going to move these 2 cubes to here. And then now this cube here, I'm going to transfer it this way here. These 3 other cubes have nowhere else to go because none of the other places, well, can take those resources. And then we would end it there. Why are these tracks important? Well, these tracks are important because anytime I move resources to a place, there needs to be a track. So if I wanted to move this here, even though these buildings are next to each other, because there's no track, I can't move these over. So making sure that there is track for you to build and therefore move things is incredibly important. One thing I do want to notice is that it doesn't have to lead directly to this building. It can go indirectly. So let's shift this down here. Let's say I built this track over here, and then I built this harvesting center over here. Now this little hay bale during transportation can travel here through this town and then go to this tile here. So because this tile has track on both sides, then it can go through it without a problem. And then these would naturally still go here, and then this one would naturally come down. And that is transportation. Phase 4, processing. As you can see here, this has the phase 4 icon here, and then now I just process 1 yellow, 1 white for 7 points. I do that twice because I have a pair, and that'll be 14 points. I will then immediately give myself those 14 points, and that would be my processing turn. Now you're going to watch and repeat those 4 phases of production, construction, transportation, and processing. You're going to do that for the round 2. Remove the A's from the market and replace them with B tiles. Then do round 3, and then comes round 4. And you'll notice this little 2 pair of arrows here. And what that means is that after you process, if you want to, you can also transport again, and then you can do this as many times as you want. And this is one of the things that was decided at the last moment to kind of help balance the game out there. And you can read the design diary. I'll put a link down below in the description. But once you've done this back and forth till your heart's content, whoever has the highest points wins Minecart Town. Long story short, I like it and I would back it. Now, is it worth hunting down my Charlie Town for this? Absolutely not. I do like this game, and the one thing that people are talking about quite a lot is that Sai Beppo did the artwork on this game, and that's that nice little chef's kiss, in my opinion. What's really cool is that this artwork doesn't look like Sai Beppo's usual flair, and so it gives you a nice view of like, well, this woman's got range. And it's cool to see any artist branch out and do things that they're typically not known for, and you get to see more of their range and art style. And the art style in Minecart Town is light years beyond what was presented in my Trolley Town. The tiles just look lighter, cleaner, and it doesn't look like it was made in MS Paint. I do want to mention that this is a prototype copy, so everything you see here may not necessarily be what is fulfilled to you many months down the road. I did think it was a little strange how the player colors were not 100% uniform. So for example, like the purple on my starting tile doesn't match the purple score counter or the purple 50-100 counter that's there next to the board. Also, the round counter doesn't necessarily move down on that track. I just kept it there because it makes it very, very clear and everyone can see which phase of the round that we're on. So that might be my own personal house rule. It might just be how the game was actually designed. It's not really clear with what was in the rules. And keep in mind that I was given a PDF of the rules and a translation of that PDF. So I had to look at both at the same time to understand what was going on. But once you get past like page 2 or 3, it became very easy to do so. Also, I felt depending on the light of the room that you're in, as well as your own eyesight as a human, you may have trouble distinguishing the gray and black cubes. I'm hoping that the final version of this will have a lighter gray cube. That way it's a little bit more distinguishable between the coal and the stone or ore. Now, those visuals aside, I adore this game. Now, I already like tile laying games. Carcassonne is very near and dear to my heart. It's one of the earliest games I played that got me into this hobby. And I've always appreciated a good tile laying game. Tile laying games are huge in Japan. But Minecart Town is quite interesting. It is a pick up and deliver game without the pickup. You just deliver. And when you read the designer's diary on BGG, and you can totally do that, I'll put some links down below, you realize that it's actually an automated engine. Like during the game, and on the short 4 rounds, it's incredibly tight, you're creating an automated scoring machine. So like this generates these resources, these move here to get transferred to this resource, this goes here and it scores. And this is just gonna continuously move in this direction the entire game, all 4 rounds, and you're just gonna continuously rank up points. That is really, really fascinating and incredibly rewarding. And you feel so clever when you're able to get one piece to get that one resource that you need to move, travel here, and then you are able to score more and more points. I haven't seen many games like this or any game like this. There are a few games that are pick up and deliver without the pickup, and I can definitely do a video on that because that's something I've seen a little bit trending. But this one does it in a very approachable 30 to 60 minute time frame. In fact, most of the games I played, I've only played the solo and the 2 and the 3 player. I haven't played 4 player yet, but none of those games reached 60 minutes. Like this game moves at a pretty fast clip. And that first round is over really quickly. It was that 3rd and 4th round, as your machine gets more and more complicated, can extend those round periods. So you may not think that you have enough time, but you definitely do have a lot of time to get that town humming and buzzing the way you want. In the solo version, there is like a slight mini campaign that's there where you had these different goals for each time you play, and you can play through that, and I really like to add that little wrinkle. It's not too much of a big campaign, but it's nice that it is there, and I do find it fulfilling. This is a multiplayer solitaire. It's a knitting circle game. You are kind of not caring what your opponents are doing, but kind of caring. You can hate draft a component or like a tile from your opponent, and it's not, I don't think it's really worth it because it's so tight. This game is so tight, and it's not really worth it because it might hinder you more than it would hinder your opponent. That being said, this is as light as this game is and as approachable as it is. An experienced player can just breeze through someone who's new to the game. And that's because an experienced player will know that I need to be scoring points on round 1, 2, 3, and 4. And whereas a new player may not be able to score any points in round 1 if they make, subpar choices. Also, understanding how the railroads work within the tiles can be a little tricky the first time through. By the second round, though, you're going to be an expert at it, and you'll definitely get the game. At an approachable time period of like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, you're not going to mind. This spatial puzzle I adore though. I really, really enjoy it. I love the fact that when you tell people, like players that are new, like, well, you can't do that there because there needs to be a track. I know those buildings are next to each other, but the fact that there's no track, they can't connect. And when you see them make that click of like, oh, I get it. It's really, really impressive to have that aha moment. And it's really fun to feel clever in this game and quite easy to feel clever in this game. The upgraded iconography and symbology in Minecart Town is perfect and beautiful, super clear. I love the fact that the four phases of each round are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's really, really clear when each tile activates and when. And sometimes and 90% of the time, I would say 99% of the time, it's really clear what that tile does just in the iconography alone. And you can kind of point that out to people and they kind of instantly understand how that tile works and operates. Now, as there are quite a few tiles in the game, you can see similar patterns and know what are optimal strategies that you kind of want to go for. But because of the range and the breadth of those tiles, you're not guaranteed all those tiles every single game. And I do think that, I mean, this is a game you could play like 20 or 30 times and maybe you get bored, but by then it's 20 or 30 times. That's more the lifespan of a game. But I'm seeing myself being able to play this multiple times. There is an old Apple II game where you had to design different types of machines and you put it in a square and the machines rotate it, punch it in a certain way and it comes up with a certain design. And hopefully that's the one that you were supposed to design. And this gives me all those vibes again. And I love seeing this machine just automate itself. Like it's designed that where it kind of just rotates and moves on its own and you're designing that the way and then seeing it generate all these points on its own on the round 4 is so incredibly gratifying. Now, for the components of the game, it's, the tray itself is okay. I mean, you can fit some of the train tiles there. It's a little bit snug, and I kind of wish that it may have been a little bit looser. I mean, there is a tray where you're supposed to put the cubes there. It's a little frustrating though because it is rectangular, and so the cubes just kind of fall in there, and they can be a little bit hard to pick up. I know that it sounds weird to say. I usually have a little component tray of my own, or just dump them out on the table. Totally fine. The bags though, and the quality of the tiles is really surprising. Like I'm really happy that they did that. The one thing that I thought was kind of interesting and a little bit disappointing was that they didn't make the backs of the tiles match the color of the bags. And it seems like such a simple, intuitive thing that you could have done. A is yellow, the bag is yellow. The B is green, the bag is green. Like C could have been purple and the bag could have been purple. I thought why not do that? That's something really easy to do. But these are final little touches there. The bag for the B seems with that black on the dark green, it's a little hard to read, but I think that's because of one, half it does of the other. It doesn't affect gameplay, and the gameplay here is really, really solid. For what this game is, how approachable it is, and how light and how fast, this is a really, really solid game. I don't know if it's Gateway or Gateway Plus. This is one of those odd games where it's made for a gamer, but it's designed to be approachable and light. So there's this idea of like, who is this for? If you're a gamer, you may want something a little bit heavier. If you're new to gaming, this might be a little too heavy for you. So there's a little bit of ambiguity there, but I do think that sometimes I just want a nice lighter game. Sometimes I want a nice spatial puzzle to put out. And this does it in such an approachable way, I think, that almost anyone can play this game. The first time is going to be a little bit rough if you have trouble with spatial puzzles. The second time, you're going to be an expert at it and you're going to be humming and bumming. And the scores can be quite tight. If you're experienced, though, it can be just a runaway score. I mean, it's hard to catch up. But if you're experienced, me and my wife have played this now where we've won and lost games on tiebreakers, and it's incredibly frustrating to lose to my wife again and again and again on a tiebreaker. But I really love tile laying games. I love solo games, and this one is an absolute gem, and I definitely think it's something special and unique. And I don't think you're gonna have anything on your shelf that resembles this. I definitely think it's worth picking up, and or at the very least, checking out to see if it is for you. Japanese games are really hard to get out of Japan, even going to Tokyo Game Market, where the print runs are like very, very small, like maybe 100, 200 print runs, and then it's gone. So the fact that more and more games are coming to Kickstarter is just a big blessing, and I definitely think that if you like Japanese games, this one is an easy one to grab. Once again, my name is Jay. I play board games from Asia and share what I find with all of you. If you like what you see here and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. I'm going to put a link to a video here that I think you'll enjoy. See you there.